I'd like to welcome all of you to today's public comment session, which is organized by the Institute of Medicine's Food and Nutrition Board on behalf of the committee to review the WIC food packages. My name is Kathleen Rasmussen, and I'm chair of the committee, and I'd like to welcome all of you today to our event. As part of the program, you've all received the statement of task that directs the committee's work. Today's session is the third public comment session as part of phase one of our task, which is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, their Food and Nutrition Service. In phase one, the committee is tasked with gathering information that will support the development of recommendations to appear in phase two of the report of the committee's work. The committee has already delivered one report titled An Evaluation of White Potatoes in the Cash Value Voucher. Some of you have probably seen this, which was released in February. This document is available now on the IOM website. This session continues the comment gathering process for phase one, which will inform the committee's ultimate recommendations. So what you have to say is quite important to us. These will be developed, the recommendations will be developed in the second and final phase of this study. Many of you may be familiar with the form of these workshops. Individuals who wish to comment are asked to sign up in advance, and you already have. And I have a list of names, including others who signed up this morning. Everyone else attends as observers. Only the members of the committee can ask questions. An important rule of the road here. For the speakers, the timer in front of you, this baby, will blink the dreaded orange when you have 30 seconds left, and when it turns red, you are done. The session is also being recorded. We have a videographer in the back. Should a registered commenter not be present when his or her name is called, we will move on. At the end, the floor will be open for individuals who did not have a chance to register or for any additional comments. The time limit will still apply. And with that, allow me to introduce the first speaker, who is Donna Hoffman, a program coordinator at the California WIC Association. Ms. Hoffman. And I assume I do not start the timer. Somebody else does.
All right. Do I start it? Oh, there we go. Thank you, Dr. Rasmussen and other members. On behalf of the Board of Directors and members of the California WIC Association, I'm pleased to share our comments and recommendations on this important review and update of the WIC food packages. Since 1986, CWA has organized California WIC local agencies and allies to educate policymakers about WIC, but also to advocate for funding and policy reforms that improve the health and well-being of the WIC families and communities we serve. CWA mounts conferences and briefings, broadcasts from a widely based use platform, and publishes policy tools for WIC and early child nutrition practices nationwide. The importance of strengthening and making further improvements to the WIC food packages cannot be overstated. Not only will it impact the nutritional status and health outcomes for millions of vulnerable families, but it can also drive changes to the overall food manufacturing, marketing, and retail grocer environments, thus benefiting millions more. CWA strongly supports the National WIC Association's comprehensive comments and specific recommendations for further improvements to the current packages, which have been submitted to the committee already, and I urge you all to take them very seriously. We'd like to point out several areas of particular importance to our community, but for that, I'd like our representatives from the local WIC agencies here in California to further look into the recommendations in their own comments. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to our wonderful California WIC staff. Thank you.
I see we have a coordinated effort this morning. Our next speaker is Cynthia Castillo, a lactation consultant from the PHFE WIC, and I know there's a longer name for this. Shannon, where are you? PHFE is good enough? Okay.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Rasmussen and esteemed members of the committee, and thank you for coming to California to hold this important session. I appreciate the opportunity to share my experience with you. My name is Cynthia Castillo, and I'm a lactation consultant for the Peer Counselor Program for PHFE WIC, where we serve 302,000 participants per month. Every day, I see how important the WIC food packages are in the lives of the families that we serve. I have seen families make changes in their lifestyles based off of the classes and vouchers they are given. For example, one family that comes to mind is a prior PC client who I've had the opportunity to help and see grow over the last 5 years. When I met this family, they were starting from a very low point. They were living in a halfway house in a small bedroom. This mother made the decision to change her lifestyles for the better based off of the WIC classes. She exclusively breastfed her daughter for a year and pushed through the difficulties with breastfeeding because it was best, but also because she knew that if she stopped, she could not afford the extra formula her daughter would need, and she would no longer receive the healthy foods that were helping her and her spouse get through the difficult times. Now, 5 years later, they have their own 2-bedroom apartment, and she has 3 children who have all been exclusively breastfed. WIC's healthy foods are the key to the success of our program. I support the National WIC Association's comprehensive comments and recommendations for further improvements to the current food packages in order to continue to help families like the one I mentioned. Please consider the NWA recommendation to further support and incentivize breastfeeding by increasing the cash value vouchers for fully breastfeeding women above that for non or partially breastfeeding women. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak. I look forward to implementing even better WIC packages. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the committee? Okay. Our next speaker is Gail Huckster, Program Chief 2 from the County of Riverside. So, is somebody turning this on? Yes, it just happened. Okay. All right. We can't see it on the other side.
Good morning. Dr. Rasmussen and committee, thank you for allowing us to present today and for holding this here in California. I want to have the opportunity to share some of our experiences that we have as a WIC director, and I'm responsible for 96,000 families every month, so you can imagine what my opportunity is. And so with that, WIC foods really do make a difference in the County of Riverside. And with this, I want to share a story with you. We have billboards throughout our county that are saying 1 in 4 children are hungry or have hunger issues. And so we have the opportunity to really coordinate with all the USDA programs in trying to get healthy foods into these families because of the need. And so we work with food stamps and WIC and school lunch and all the partners together. And so with this, I really want to support the National WIC Association's recommendations for the improvements of the current package that have already been submitted, as well as another recommendation. As a registered dietitian and the WIC families that we serve, I want to allow in the area of yogurt, of allowing all fat levels and be in the area of awareness of sugar, but enough sugar that we retain the good bacteria, that the cultures can live and be in alignment with the dietary guidelines for Americans. And so one of the things we have is that when the moms are there in the shopping experience, it's really hard to tell what kind of yogurt is whole milk yogurt. It's not easy. Everything says low fat or non-fat, and there's all these different flavors and all these different opportunities. So I think we need to make the experience an easy shopping experience so that they can make a good choice and have a daily consumption of healthy foods and make WIC the really easy, healthy choice and make it simple. And so with that, my recommendation is to have yogurt with the amount of fat that they would have on a monthly basis if it was, especially with the 1-year-olds, just make it an open fat level. So with that, I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to speak and look forward to implementing even better WIC food packages with families and making WIC the easy choice and the healthy choice with another sack of groceries on the dining room table. Thank you.
Any questions from the committee? Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. You mentioned that the shopping experience for yogurt and the difficulty of finding the correct match. Was there any other food item or food group that you feel represented difficulty with the shopping experience?
Today I was just addressing yogurt. You know, sometimes our WIC package, it's easy on fruits and vegetables because they don't have a label, but sometimes trying to find the right label and get to the check stand and get out correctly, you get more experience. The more times that the longer you're a WIC client, you really know what can go in the bag. But sometimes when you're new with education, you just have to go through the process. But in the yogurt has become so popular lately, and there's so many different brands and experiences at the yogurt aisle.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you very much. Our next speaker is Hildreth Kent, who's director of the LA Biomed WIC program.
Okay, good morning. Thank you, Dr. Rasmussen and esteemed members of the committee. Thank you for coming here to California to hold this important listening session. And I appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. And my name is Heidi Kent, and I'm a registered dietitian and executive director of the LA Biomed WIC program here in Los Angeles, where we serve approximately 80,000 participants a month. And WIC's healthy foods are, I think, one of the key to the successes of the program, and they can be made even better with your assistance. I strongly support the NWA's comprehensive comments and specific recommendations for further improvements to the current WIC package, which have already been submitted, and I do hope that you review them seriously. I've worked for WIC for over 30 years, and the WIC program has a very special place in my heart as well to everybody in this room. And I'd like to share my thoughts and experiences with you today on one particular issue that I think is very important. And that is to allow full or partial replacement of the juice benefit with cash value vouchers for fruits and vegetables if it would not affect the vitamin C or iron status. Recent studies are pointing to the lack of a distinction between juice and sugar-sweetened beverages, leading me to wonder why WIC continues to endorse and provide juice. In my opinion, WIC should not be promoting or providing juices as a healthy beverage or as an alternative to sugar-sweetened beverages or as a source of vitamins necessarily. There are plenty of rich sources of vitamin C in fruits and vegetables, such as citrus and strawberries and broccoli, and these sources are much more nutrient-dense as well. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, concerns around juice are no different than those for sugar-sweetened beverages for young children and include problems such as diarrhea, flatulence, abdominal distension, dental caries, as well as overweight caused by extra calories. According to the AAP, milk and water have substantial benefits compared to juice of more nutrients, better hydration, and reduced dental decay. In my opinion, substitution of fresh seasonal fruits and vegetables is vastly preferable to juice for all ages of WIC participants for the following reasons. Whole fruits and vegetables contain much more fiber, water-soluble vitamins, and antioxidants, which are lost in the process of juice making. Fruit juice has a very high glycemic index, causing blood glucose and insulin then to spike. And recent studies propose that fructose in juice is metabolized into LDL cholesterol by the liver, contributing to obesity and chronic disease. Lastly, drinking juice encourages more calories to be consumed quickly in liquid form, contributing to weight gain, and develops a taste habit for sweet drinks instead of water or milk among young children, and not something that I think the WIC program should be encouraging. Thank you for this opportunity to speak, and I look forward to promoting an improved WIC food package for all of our families.
Thank you very much. Are there comments or questions from the committee? If not, moving on. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Nicholas Pyle, President of Pyle and Associates.
Good morning. Nick Pyle here, and for the last 30 years I've provided consulting services to various food companies. Today I'm here as president of Pyle and Associates, and not in any official capacity on behalf of our clients. I have a written statement and we'll put that in the record. Juice. The previous IOM WIC review cut the juice prescription. Some suggest the balance of the juice prescription be swapped at participant choice to buy fruits and vegetables. The previous speaker was one of those some. The juice prescription presently allows the equivalent of a single fruit serving every day for the entire month. 4 ounces daily is within the recommendations of the American Academy of Pediatrics. Switching to optional fruits and vegetables would allow only participants fruit servings for a few days. Whole grains. The recent Alarium study of participant redemptions shows that whole grains are typically only redeemed by 65% of their full prescription. USDA took steps to broaden choices, adding pasta. These efforts might be complemented by the addition of bagels and pitas, flatbreads. Furthermore, ancient grains, whole grain offerings could be added, including but not limited to spelt, kamut, quinoa, farro, telf, amaranth, chia. It's not just for your chia pets. Sorghum, freekeh, and millet. These would also mean a host of gluten-free alternatives to wheat. Third, milk. The previous food package allowed for up to 4 pounds of cheese substituted for 3 gallons of milk. In 2009, WIC limited substitution to 1 pound. The milk prescription, when taken all at once, is simply too much for many households to transport and store. We recommend WIC allow participants to swap milk for up to 2 pounds of cheese. Furthermore, we recommend that WIC guidance be issued so cheese selections with 2% fat be allowed up to sizing. For example, a 7-ounce, 2% fat package be treated as 8 ounces for redemption purposes. Fourth, infant cereals are presently limited to wheat and rice. This category is identified by the Alarium study as also significantly under-redeemed. Please consider adding ancient grains to the mix, and we went through that list already. Fifth point I wish to make is to address the limitation on plant-based alternatives to milk. Presently, only soy plant-based beverages are allowed. This could be expanded to include almond, coconut, cashew, and other plants. This is, of course, assuming they meet fortification requirements. Finally, please understand that WIC is very important to the consumer packaged goods companies. It is responsible for the all-important try of a product. WIC authorization means statewide product distribution, valuable retail shelf space, opportunities for line extensions, and often reduced slotting fees. Our work with food companies is typically 2 objectives: gain approvals with state programs and raise awareness of clients' eligibility. I welcome your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there questions from the committee?
Okay, seeing none. Our next speaker is Karen Saluja, Executive Director of the PHFE WIC program.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to Irvine. Welcome to California. It's wonderful to speak before you. I am the Executive Director of the WIC program in LA, Orange, and a little bit in San Bernardino. And you'll hear different numbers. We are supposed to be serving 302,000 participants per month. We're actually doing about 250,000. And while that's a real decline, I always tell my staff, 250,000 people come in to get services every month. Wow. But what a shame it isn't more. So I'm here to talk about the really slightly controversial issue. Can you please put back the fat and milk? I'm a dietitian and I'm asking for 2% to come back. We implemented a change in California in October. We did a 2-month heroic education effort. We did taste testing that would have put the Pepsi Coke challenge to shame. And the very next month, 7,000 less people walked in. Since then, we've lost about 17,000 WIC participants in our program. Nationwide, the drop since September has been 400,000. Is it because of the milk? Well, I don't know. I'm not the expert. You are. But my staff, every time I go out there, I'm like, hey, guys, what's going on? They're all about the milk. People are not coming because of the milk. We just did a survey last Wednesday, getting ready for your committee. We've just submitted some comments online, and 800 women were asked questions. One of the questions was, how satisfied are you with the change in milk? Now remember, these are people who are coming to WIC. 25% of them said, not satisfied, very unsatisfied. I live in constant fear that those are the next people to drop. We are bleeding out. We have a fabulous public health nutrition program. We're the best. Everybody loves us. Even Congress loves us. What does that tell you? Wow. So the program, its support, you heard up here council speak, you'll hear some other people speak. It's no good if people don't come. Our juice is not worth the squeeze, and it's not orange juice I'm talking about. We make people jump through hoops. They have to do so much more to participate in WIC than they have to do for any other program. I love that. I love they have to go to Nutrition Ed. I love all of that. But if they don't come, because so much of the milk they get is something that they don't drink, then we're really losing the battle. And I know there's a lot of science to support this. I have several articles that I will submit humbly, because I think you've already read them all. As we made the change happen, ironically, the science was actually saying, you know what? Actually, higher fat milk is better. Because if you're not satisfied, if you don't have satiety, you're going out seeking other calories. So please consider this. Give us back the fat and milk so we can serve participants with the wraparound of WIC services and really make this program do what it's really meant to do. And I hope you put some very clear guidance. Don't give USDA any choices. Just say, do it. Thank you so much. And I stayed under. I didn't say anything I'd written down, but it's all written down. The gist is there. Thank you. And I don't know who to give my stuff to, so you let me know. Okay.
Are there any questions from the committee? Yes, there is. Just one more, please.
So thank you very much for your comments. I'm Helen Jensen. You mentioned milk. Are there any other of the food items that you have particular concerns about or you think are particularly attractive? And I'd be particularly interested in the children.
I'm so glad you asked. I had only got 3 minutes because I could have talked for an hour. The good news is that we have, because of this particular survey that was so targeted that we did with our participants, we have heard from them about a plethora of food products. We've submitted those comments online. But really what our participants are asking for, and to be so creative if you all can find ways to do this, they're asking for things like meat. They'd like some choices. They'd like to buy chicken. And it's like, seriously, how can we do this within the nutrition guidelines so that we can make some of these choices? How would we standardize it? Could it be canned chicken? Is that a possibility? With our infant package, the baby rice is not as well redeemed. We have to give it, but it doesn't really quite hit the mark that we wanted to because they're not using it. And Cynthia, in fact, talked to a lot of moms in her PC program, but they said, yeah, I get about a couple of boxes, and then I give it away or I donate it. I know that for our children, we would love, absolutely love to see, the yogurt added, more fresh fruits and vegetables. Nick's the juice. Sorry, Nick. Where are you? No, Nick's the juice. Nobody drinks 4 ounces a day. They drink it in gulps, and then they not. So let's give them whatever we can for fresh fruits and vegetables. And I don't know if the IOM is able to do this, but if you could really exhort SNAP to work better, whatever we call it, food stamps, new name, to work better with WIC so that we're not competitive, but we actually have the education focusing around use WIC first. Because WIC teaches you how to eat healthy by actually giving you those foods, and then carry over that to food stamps, because that partnership would work so much better. With we're competitive right now. That's not a good thing for a USDA program to compete with each other. So I'm not quite sure I answered your question, but thank you.
Thank you very much. Many answers to her question.
Okay. Next up is Deborah Lee, WIC Associate Director for the Planned Parenthood, OSBC/CWA.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is kind of scary. Look at that. It's so official. Good morning, committee members. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you this morning. My name is Deborah Lee, and I'm from the Planned Parenthood WIC Agency. I'm the Associate Director. I've been serving the WIC program for about over 11 years now, so it's been a pleasure. I'd like to strongly support also the National WIC Association's comprehensive comments and recommendations to the improvements for the current WIC package. Today, I'd like to share my thoughts and experience on an issue that I think is very important, to allow vegetarian substitutions for the baby food meats for fully breastfed infants with consideration for protein, iron, zinc, omega-3 fatty acids, and allow vegan substitutions for egg and canned meats and canned fish. Having vegan substitutions for the egg and canned fish categories will mean that those who follow a vegan diet will be less likely to have nutrient deficiencies and nutrients that those foods contain. The 2015 dietary guidelines will likely be recommending decreasing meat in the diet. So these changes in the WIC would support these recommendations as well. The American Dietetic Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics state that vegan diets can improve and promote normal infant growth in addition to vegetarian diets, as long as the attention is paid to the fat content, vitamin B12, D, iron, and zinc. I thank you so much for this opportunity to speak and express these ideas, and I also look forward to implementing even better WIC food packages with WIC families. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the committee? I see one coming.
Could you let us know what specific food suggestions you have as substitutions for vegans for the food items that you mentioned?
Sure. I think that going along with some of the recommendations that you've already heard, increasing the fruit and vegetables and the tofu, WIC also already offers a tofu package, but maybe more substitutions for that in the amount, as well as we were talking about including nuts in the diet is something that WIC does not allow right now, so that would also make up some of the fat content for vegan and vegetarian diets.
One further question. Are you talking about nuts for children, infants?
Well, I guess it would be children, appropriate age children, as well as the milks. He already spoke about the different milks that would also contain the nut nutrients. The almond, the coconut would also help with that area. So not necessarily in the nuts, but there's so many products that contain nuts that are appropriate, age appropriate for the children.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Our next speaker is Samar McGregor, Senior Nutritionist at the PHFE WIC program.
Good morning and hello, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Rasmussen and the esteemed members of the committee for taking the time to listening to our comments, and thank you for the work that you're doing to improve the food package. As mentioned, my name is Samar McGregor, and I'm with the PHFE WIC program. I'm a registered dietitian and a senior nutritionist, and I'm also the president-elect for the California WIC Association. Today, I would like to talk about the functional food ingredients being added to WIC formulas and foods. These ingredients are added to foods such as infant formula, baby food, infant cereal, eggs, and juice. And our concern is twofold. The first one being that neither the FDA nor the USDA assess whether these functional ingredients are beneficial. And the second concern is the cost. The companies that manufacture the above-mentioned foods market these functional ingredients as providing developmental benefits such as eye or brain development or even strengthening immunity. These ingredients that have been recently added are fatty acids that are similar to what's found in breast milk, such as the DHA and the ARA. The addition of these fatty acids is not regulated and can lead to exposure of infants to potential risks, and adverse reactions have been recorded. Other ingredients manufacturers claim their formula includes can help with fussiness and gas, and I quote here. This can imply that parents with crying infants and fussy infants should feed them soy protein in order to improve their symptoms when it may not be medically necessary. Some of these companies have implied these messages by formula names like Gentle Ease or Sensitive or Soothe, and these messages ignore normal baby behavior by misleading parents to believe that the products will fix the problem, which may not be even happening. A mom with an infant who is crying for various reasons, such as a diaper change or even a change in position, thinks that this formula would be better for her baby because she would want to give the baby the best possible product. Some formulas are not provided by the WIC program, and this puts pressure on the parents because they may think that WIC provides inferior formula and their babies deserve better. Parents are not aware that claims made by the formula companies are unsubstantiated. Of extreme concern to our community, this can also undermine breastfeeding by convincing moms that this manufactured product is better than their own milk. Cost is a big issue for the WIC program. These functional ingredients generally cost more, and they don't necessarily deliver clinically significant benefits. The program operates with limited funding, and if it offers more costly foods, regardless of their benefits, this may displace more valuable foods that WIC could provide, and it could ultimately result in WIC not having sufficient funds to serve the eligible women, infants, and children. We ask that our families receive the foods that have been scientifically proven to be beneficial for their health and well-being. We request that USDA enters into a contract with the IOM to develop a framework to evaluate new functional ingredients and whether it would provide significant benefits that address the needs of the WIC families. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you very much. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Nina F. Ichikawa, Policy Director for the Berkeley Food Institute.
Thank you very much to the committee, and thank you for coming to California. I'm Nina Ichikawa. I represent the Berkeley Food Institute at University of California, Berkeley. We are a partnership established in 2013 between the Schools of Law, Public Policy, Natural Resources, Public Health, and Journalism. Our mission is making the research of our over 105 affiliated faculty available as a resource to policymakers and the general public. We do not represent the official position of the University of California. We envision a world in which nutritious, affordable food is available to all. To these ends, we encourage the committee to consider: 1. Expand options for the increasing number of diverse populations through culturally acceptable foods, and expand substitutions for special dietary concerns to include food, food allergies and intolerances. WIC participants are culturally diverse, which is indicated by the fact that here in California, WIC has developed outreach materials in many languages, including Spanish, Chinese, Vietnamese, Russian, Hmong, Korean, Armenian, and more. WIC nutritionists recognize the need to offer a supplemental food package with regionally or locally available and culturally familiar foods. Number 2, continue to allow inclusion of organic foods as a state option. We support continued state flexibility around the selection of organic alternatives in WIC food items where feasible and affordable. Many states currently include explicit prohibitions on access to organic foods for WIC participants. Multiple studies, including research by our affiliated faculty, have found that brain and nervous system harms to children are linked to certain organophosphate pesticides. More research is needed, yet there is a growing awareness by consumers of the health risks of pesticide exposure and the desire to avoid that exposure through the consumption of certain organic foods. Americans are buying organic food in conventional retailers, and fruits, vegetables, and dairy products, all essential to WIC participants, are popular and widely available organic products. Where the cost is comparable, we support WIC participants having the same access to high-quality organic products as every other American. We thank you for your consideration of these issues, and Berkeley Food Institute is happy to serve as a resource if further questions arise. And just since I have a little second more, I want to add the end of the first point, which I didn't get to touch on, which is increasing substitutions for special dietary concerns to include food allergies and intolerances. The prevalence of reported food allergy in children has increased substantially since 1997. By expanding available substitutions, the WIC food package can better meet the nutritional needs of participants with special dietary concerns, including celiac disease and food intolerance. And we support this recommendation of the California WIC Association. Thank you.
I see a question coming.
Yes, you do. Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Similar to Patsy's question, I'm Shannon Whaley. What recommendations do you have for the culturally acceptable foods and the two issues that you bring up?
Mm-hmm.
What suggestions would you like to share with us about options?
I think that for that answer, may I defer that answer to one of my colleagues who is working more on the ground with WIC participants, or must I answer that within my time?
I don't know.
May I pass the answering of that to perhaps one of the regional directors? No, cannot. Okay. Well, I think that within any prescribed food package, there is a tremendous range of what can be offered. We have the same issue at farmers markets, for instance, that only broccoli and kale is offered, and participants or customers in that situation would prefer bok choy or gailon or cilantro. And in the same way, as not enough Americans are eating fruits and vegetables, and there's an increasing range of cost-effective fruits and vegetables, particularly, we think that that range of what's often called ethnic products should be allowed and included, because for many people that's more familiar, they know how to cook it, and will be more likely to cook it at home for their children. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Gail Huckster, Public Health Program Chief from the County of Riverside. She already went, all right. Oh, she's on the list twice. Aha, thank you very much. I don't know how that happened, but we will move on. All right, get ready. Beth Cordova, Area Manager for the PHFE WIC.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dr. Rasmussen and esteemed members of the committee. Thank you for being in Irvine. It's where I live, so I'm excited to be here. It's so close. My name is Beth Cordova. I'm a registered dietitian and area manager with the PHFE WIC program in Southern California. As you've heard, we serve between 200 and 300,000 clients a month. Being in the centers, I go between our administrative office and our WIC center. So being in the WIC centers, you really see how the food package and these foods are needed by our clients. I kind of have a personal story, something I encountered on Tuesday at our Covina Center. I met a family, a husband and wife and their 1.5-year-old son. They just came back from Africa, from Malawi. They're missionaries. So they go back between Africa and the United States. She's on her second pregnancy. They came back to the United States on Monday. Her first stop on Tuesday was to come to the WIC Center. That's how valuable the food package is to her. She values the foods in the WIC package, but she feels that they could be even more valuable with some changes, and I'm sharing her thoughts. She was saying that she loves that she gets the cash value voucher. Well, she didn't say that, but the fruit and vegetable check. We say CVV. She was sharing that if she could have a little more opportunity to buy more fresh fruit and vegetables on that check, that would be, I quote, a blessing for her family and her child. She said, my son loves fresh fruit and vegetables, and she said fresh. If he could have more, that would be fabulous. Her husband doesn't have a work visa to work in the United States, so having WIC for them is a great opportunity to put food on the table. She also said shopping for fruit and vegetables is a family experience for her. When we shared with her, we have farmers market this summer, and she's going to go this Saturday. She was even more excited. So good for her. She can buy more fresh fruit and vegetables. And her quote upon leaving was, WIC saved us. So to hear that from someone you're actually serving says a lot, and that's really what we do in our centers every day. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak, and highly support all the changes that NWA has recommended, and we hope our WIC food package is improved. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the committee?
No. Okay. I have been reminded that I misread my list. So excited with the double entry. I missed Esperanza Suarez, Center Manager from the PPO SBC WIC. I apologize for that error.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for being here and for giving me the opportunity to be here with you. My name is Esperanza Suarez, and I'm Center Manager at Planned Parenthood, where we serve about 5,000 participants per month. Every day, I see how critically important the WIC food packages are in the lives of the families we serve. I'm going to share a short story about one of our clients. I met them while I was doing outreach. Maggie was a single mother working to support her kids and barely making ends meet. Her daughter Linda was 15 at the time and pregnant. I referred her immediately to our site for help, where we provided her with the support she needed to take care of her pregnancy. They had a very difficult situation that turned out to be a success story due to our wonderful WIC program. I think that being able to learn about nutrition and breastfeeding and get nutritious foods for her and her infant changed their life. Linda delivered a healthy baby, and thanks to our referral to another collaborative program, she will be able to have encouragement and support to continue with her high school studies. Today, I would like also to share my thoughts and experience on one issue I think is very important. For infants 9 to 11 months, allow states the option to replace all jarred infant fruits and vegetables with cash value vouchers, CVVs, for fresh, frozen, or canned fruits and vegetables. A full CVV option for infants aged 9 to 11 months will reinforce WIC nutrition education messages of adding foods with more texture and encouraging self-feeding to meet the development needs of the older infants. In a recent study by PHFE WIC, 2/3 of surveyed families said they would prefer to get checks for fruits and vegetables rather than baby food for younger babies. And fully 80% said they would love to have CVVs rather than baby food for their 9 to 11-month-old infants. Redemption rates are low for jarred baby foods in our state. According to 2011 study done by PHFE WIC, baby food redemption rates dropped to less than 60% for 10 to 12-month-olds. Many families complain of not using the jars they redeem. They waste the containers. Thousands of glass jars go to landfills and contribute to environmental degradation. WIC parents will love to make their own baby food with fruits and vegetables, and WIC nutritionists can show them how to do so and maintain food safety. Low-cost baby food grinders may be provided to each family that chooses to make their own baby foods. They should be considered at food cost just like breast pumps and pads. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Are there questions from the committee? I have a question, and then we'll come to the other one. Are baby food grinders being provided now in your WIC program? No. You're suggesting that something could be provided. Okay, thank you. And Dr. Jensen.
Yes, you didn't mention the meat, baby food meats. Do you have any comments to add on changes there or its acceptability?
I don't have any comments on the meat.
On the infant meat?
Yeah, I don't have any comments on the meat. I haven't heard any bad feedback about it, but I only know about the fruits and vegetables for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Cindy Clapp, registered dietitian and lactation specialist at the PHFE WIC.
Good morning, Dr. Rasmussen and esteemed members of the committee. I'm so happy I can be here today with you and share my WIC experiences. My name is Cindy Clapp, and I'm a registered dietitian and a lactation consultant at the PHFE WIC program, which serves participants in LA, Orange County, and San Bernardino. I have worked for the WIC program for over 22 years and have often told my family and friends that I wish every family in the country could be on WIC because it's such an amazing program. WIC's healthy foods are the key to success of our program, and they can be made even better with your help today. I work as a lactation consultant for the Peer Counselor program. When pregnant women enroll in WIC, and especially in the Peer Counselor program, they tell us they intend to breastfeed their babies. Peer counselors work tirelessly talking to pregnant moms about the benefits of breastfeeding, and when the baby arrives, the PC helps the mom with all the aspects of breastfeeding that she can only learn with her baby in her arms. PCs work in the role of health educators, helping a mom find a breastfeeding position that will work for her after she has a C-section, and they also work as a friend, helping her through a brief period of the baby blues. If no breastfeeding challenges came up after these moms had their babies, I'm sure they would all choose to exclusively breastfeed. In reality, challenges often do face our WIC moms, and they question if the benefits of breastfeeding really do outweigh the costs of being tired, being in pain, and even the health risks. When you add the high monetary value of the infant formula packet to the mother's breastfeeding equation, formula can be too enticing to refuse. The WIC food package has the potential to offer the incentive these mothers need to continue exclusively breastfeeding. Let's make the woman's fully breastfeeding food package true competition for the infant's fully formula feeding packet in order to level the playing field as a mother stands at a crossroads between deciding whether to stay exclusively breastfeeding or begin to use formula. Increasing the cash value voucher for fruits and vegetables above that for a non or partially breastfeeding woman is a good start. Please also consider adding more of the high-cost WIC foods, such as cheese and eggs, to the fully breastfeeding woman's food packet, so that this package truly becomes an incentive for a mother to stay exclusively breastfeeding. I strongly support the National WIC Association's recommendations for further improvements to the current WIC food packages, especially the recommendations to incentivize the fully breastfeeding woman's food package. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today, and I look forward to offering even better food packages to the families we serve.
I can see we already have a question.
Here, I'll get up here. Hi, thank you so much. My question is that what I've heard is that there are women who their intention is to fully breastfeed,
and then they hit a bump in the road, oftentimes very early on. But it's this idea that they have to choose to be fully breastfeeding for the WIC package. Can you see any sort of middle road or a way to help those women where a little bit of formula might just help them overcome that fear that they're going to be without having to make that jump to the formula?
As lactation consultants, the concern is always feeding the baby. So early intervention with breastfeeding help and support is our first goal. And then if we do need to give a formula packet in those early days, we do that. It's just that when the mom is at the point where she's having to decide whether to continue to give a couple of bottles a day or she's going to choose to be exclusive, and she's looking, she's got the pressure of people telling her, just formula feed. Why is the baby crying? You're feeding too often. You always are feeding that baby. And the value of the formula packet is so high compared to the nothing packet that the infant gets if they're fully breastfeeding, that sometimes it's hard to dissuade her from taking the formula packet. And when she has the formula at home, we know she's more likely to use it than if she doesn't have the formula at home. So we really would love it if we could say, oh, this woman's food package is that $100 that you're not getting for the infant formula, is equal to the food that you're receiving for these higher value WIC foods or more of the WIC foods. I know it's a prescription, but maybe we could incentivize it just a little bit more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have some more questions. Dr. Brennan, did you have a question?
Okay. I have a question. Sure. And that is, we have heard presentations that suggest to us a reward incentive for a month of completed, let's say, exclusive breastfeeding is something that would be attractive. It wouldn't be quite as expensive as the suggestion you just made, but that it would recognize the woman's effort and success in completing that exclusive breastfeeding month. Do you have any reaction to that idea?
I love that idea. One of the things we talk about in the peer counselor program is that we have to get the mom through the first day, the first week, the first 2 weeks before we can get her to a month, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, and a year. So if we could get her to, we have this gold star above her that says get to a month, and then we will give you this wonderful thing, a package of diapers, whatever it could be. It doesn't have to be all that big. That we're more likely to be able to get her to the next step. And we know that any breastfeeding is better than no breastfeeding. So even 1 month would be amazing. We would love that. And we think we could take it from there, getting her to stay with us if we could get her to a month.
All right, our next speaker is Joy Errands, WIC Director from the Northeast Valley COPR WIC program. Must be corporation, cooperative. Corporation, okay.
Thank you, Dr. Rasmussen and esteemed members of the committee. My name is Joy Errands. I'm the WIC Director at Northeast Valley Health Corporation. We are a large local agency here in Los Angeles County. We serve over 60,000 participants per month, and I've been a dietitian with WIC for 18 years, and I've seen the impact that the food packages have had in the families we serve. For example, at my Pacoima WIC site, my breastfeeding peer counselor recently shared with me an interaction she had with one of her clients. This mom has 6 children, and her husband recently lost his job. They were stressed and wondered how they would feed their children. This WIC mom called her peer counselor and said, "Can you take me a little early? I really need the food." And of course, we accommodated her. And as they were leaving the office, her little one turned to his mom and said, "Can we now go to the store and buy our beans and milk?" So for many of our families, the WIC food vouchers have been the difference between eating and not eating. Another example, in my North Hollywood site, a dietitian shared a story with me about a foster family. A year ago, a foster mom accepted a 2-year-old foster child who only weighed 20 pounds. Due to some health issues and the inability to eat solids properly. With the help of WIC foods and various therapies, This child was able to gain 9 pounds over the past year, and the foster mom expressed much gratitude and attributes the positive impact to the WIC foods and the support that we provide. WIC's healthy foods are the key to the success of our program, and they can be made even better. I strongly support the National WIC Association's comprehensive comments, and one particular point: please allow effective administration of the WIC program by ensuring that implementation dates allow for adequate planning, food list printing, local agency staff and vendor training, and data systems updates. A lot of things are involved when we implement food package updates, which includes planning time, preparing materials, training staff and vendors, updating our MIS systems. In addition, the staggering of implementation dates is undesirable for coordinating all of these components. To effectively administer the WIC program, ensure program integrity, and facilitate efficiency, it's important that the dates of the implementation allow for sufficient time frame for all these activities to occur. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak.
Are there any questions from the committee? I have one. You suggested that the administration of a change not have staggered dates. Is that staggered dates within a state or staggered dates state to state? What's the advantage of that within a state? Why does it matter?
So to clarify, staggering dates, so if it's within a year saying this change needs to be made by this time or this time, having it all together at once is better because a lot of training is involved with each one, and it's better to train it all at one time. Especially in California, we're very large. Just in my local agency, we have 200 vendors, so to have to, provide technical support to them, it's very time intensive. So they'd rather have it all in one shot.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker is Mary Samar, WIC Director at the NCHS.
Okay. Good morning, Dr. Rasmussen and members of the committee. Thank you for coming to California and for this opportunity to be part of this event. My name is Mary Samar, and I'm the WIC Director at North County Health Services in San Diego, where we serve about 10,000 participants. I'm a registered dietitian, and I've worked with WIC for 23 years, and I've seen how critically important the WIC food packages are in the lives of the families we serve. WIC healthy foods coupled with excellent nutrition education that we provide are the keys to our program's continued success. And I too support all the National WIC Association's recommendations for further improvements to the current food packages and hope that you will give them all serious consideration. I'm here today to share my thoughts on the recommendation of allowing 2 separate food packages to meet the differing developmental needs of the infant over 6 months of age. And that would be providing one package for infants 6 to 8 months and another package for infants 9 to 11 months. As indicated by NWA, the current WIC food package meets the developmental needs for infants between 6 and 8 months of age by providing pureed infant fruits, vegetables, and meats, and fortified infant cereal. For the older infant between 9 to 11 months, however, there is a lack of options to meet the developmental need for increased texture and self-feeding. The option to allow full substitution of infant foods with a cash value voucher for fresh fruits and vegetables to bridge this gap has already been suggested. But what we're really seeking is the creation of a distinct older infant food package to allow for the inclusion of additional age-appropriate foods such as cereals, beans, and tofu. In our agency, we regularly void unused checks for pureed infant foods that are issued to the older infant. Our parents tell us their baby refuses to eat them and asks, when will my baby get real food? He wants to eat what we're eating. Just yesterday in our Oceanside site, I saw this with my own eyes. A mom came in to recertify her 1-year-old, and she had 4 to 5 checks, baby cereal, baby meats, completely unused. And she said, I don't want to waste them. I'd rather bring them back and have you void them. We often, moms will ask for us to tailor that voucher as well. In other words, she doesn't want it. WIC does a wonderful job teaching parents to recognize developmental readiness in their infants before starting complementary foods, and continues to teach the appropriate progression of solids to match babies' skills and abilities through the first year. With your help, we can offer a food package to meet that's in alignment with their developmental readiness for increased texture and self-feeding. Thank you. I think I went 4 seconds over.
Questions from the committee? The speaker gets to ask questions. This is fun. So am I correct in interpreting your statement that you are, from your perspective, satisfied with the current package for infants 6 to 8 months old? It's just the 9 to 11 where you feel changes need to be made?
That would be correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Our next speaker is Irene Salazar, WIC Program Director at Planned Parenthood, OSBC, CWA.
Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. My name is Irene Salazar. I am the WIC Director for Planned Parenthood WIC here in Orange County, and I'm also a former WIC participant. I've been with WIC for 9 years, and I've pretty much been on both sides of the fences, so I'm here to kind of just share my story and see the benefits of WIC. So today I would like to share my thoughts and experience on one issue that I think is very important, which is to continue to allow inclusion of organic foods as a state option and require state to allow redemption of CVV, cash value vouchers, at farmers market. As states move to EBT WIC benefits, allow the farmers market nutrition program benefit to be added to the WIC card for use at farmers market. We strongly support continued state flexibility around the selection of organic alternatives in WIC food items where feasible and affordable within the overall cost constraints of the WIC food funding. Organic products add to the appeal of the package for many participants and in some cases help the bottom line of small farms and businesses. I've actually gone to some of the farmers market here in Orange County, and many of them are very humble and very pleased that we're there and that we're providing these type of stuff for our WIC participants. California was an early adopter of the optional provision to allow redemption of the CVV at our state certified farmers market. And there are a growing number of California farmers who have gone to the trouble to become authorized to accept CVVs. They do this because they realize that CVV market, which is a much, much larger market than the WIC's farmers market, very limited in our seasonal offerings. The final rule made it easier for these markets to participate in the CVV program by allowing market managers instead of every single individual farmer to be authorized. This will boost participation even further, and we would like to see the national implementation of this important option to give participants equal access in every state. In addition, combining the CVV and the WIC Farmers Market Nutritional Program benefits on a single card would further incentivize expenditures of local farmers market. It's a win-win situation. Thank you.
Are there, are there questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Christina Hall, Executive Director of the Orange County Food Access Coalition. Is Ms. Hall here? Okay. Moving on, Veronica Meza, Peer Counselor at the PHFE WIC. try that again. Is Veronica Meza here? No. Okay. Next up, Anna Pimentel, Assistant Director of the Fresno Economic Opportunities Commission. All right, Linda Andrews, for whom I have no additional information.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Linda Andrews, and I really appreciate this time and opportunity to speak with everyone here. I am a registered dietitian, and I'm also the Nutrition Education Coordinator for PHFE WIC program. Today I'm here on behalf of my daughter-in-law, Hannah Payne, who is a WIC recipient in Humboldt County in Northern California. She wanted me to share her concern with you. According to Hannah, WIC provides too much shelf-stable soy milk for WIC participants. In Hannah's kitchen is a shelf. This shelf goes along all 3 walls of her kitchen and extends to her dining room. On this shelf are stacks of unused soy milk containers. Hannah says she drinks the milk, she cooks with the milk, and what you see on the shelf is leftover soy milk. As the milk expires, she throws the unopened, unused milk in the trash. So far, she has thrown out up to 60 unused quart-sized containers. She told me that this is such a waste of taxpayer money. Hannah felt that the money spent on the extra soy milk should be applied to fresh fruit and vegetables or to the fruit and vegetable check. Eating and cooking fruits and vegetables are healthier and would not be wasted. Hannah pointed out that the government in general already encourages the public to eat more fruits and vegetables. The WIC education she receives is all about eating more fruits and vegetables. If WIC offered more fruits and vegetables, then the government's message would be stronger and more consistent. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak on Hannah's behalf, and I look forward to a new and improved WIC food package really soon.
Are there any questions for our last speaker? If not, thank you very much. Is there anyone else who didn't sign up to speak who wishes to speak today? Are there any general questions from the committee? Seeing none, I thank all of our guests for coming and sharing with us your thoughts. The committee has received and does take seriously the extensive comments that we received from the National WIC Association, and so thank you for making them more real to us by sharing your stories today. Really, really appreciate your coming out to see us. Thank you very much. This session is adjourned.